Welcome in, curious crafters, to the 1 hour Saturday Spotlight. Today, we will be highlighting whimsical designs by Wemet Wirework. Unfortunately, this week, there won't be any questions from the chat, but if there are any compliments, please send them forward and they will be saved and passed on to our Laura, who is about to join us. So, Laura, please try and ignore chat as best you can, completely. You're just with me in the room. A scary, ghosty thing. Whoa. Or something like that. I'll begin the countdown clock as soon as you come up and we start asking questions. And when you are ready, give me a thumbs up and I'll bring you up. She's got the thumbs up. Welcome in, Laura.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Right, I know you are pressed for time because, ladies and gentlemen, she has family. Family is important. So we've got 1 hour, 1 hour only. And Laura, are you ready?
I am.
Good girl, let's go. How old were you when you first learned your craft?
Oh, goodness. I'm not going to give away the actual age, but I've been doing this about 5 years. Actually, it'll be 5 years in April when I first discovered wire. And it quickly became my favorite medium to work in. And yeah, I just really, really enjoy working with it.
Please don't poke me in the eye with your wire. Okay. So there's one little clue. We've got it in the name, and she's just said we're working with wire here, people. Okay. What was your very first video on YouTube?
Actually, that was a bookmark, and it's called Wire and Beads. And it just kind of happened. I was working with some students, and I really wanted to come up with something that would introduce them to the medium of wire, but I'm really big on recycling as well. So what I did is I just scrounged around for just some old, greasy, dirty utility wire, which I use in many, many of my projects. And I had a bunch of old jewelry kicking around and, you know, stuff that we all accumulate, and took it all apart and tested it out on these kids, young teenagers, actually grade 7. And it went super well. It went really, really good. And I hadn't actually considered doing a YouTube channel until it started to be suggested to me. And I thought, well, you know, I really don't like being on camera, but here I am.
All right.
But I thought, okay, well, you know what? It doesn't necessarily mean that anybody had to see my mug, but you know, I could do these projects just by videotaping my hands. And so I ran, and you know how it is when you're starting out with YouTube. It's really difficult to break into the algorithm. And you know, so to this date, there haven't actually been that many views, but it just kind of broke the ice, and you know, it helped me realize that, okay, well, you know what, this, if nothing else, is going to be fun, right? So it was a bookmark, and it used recycled materials.
And it began your journey out there.
Yeah. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. And I mean, it was very slow. I think maybe I did, I don't know, one video every 3 weeks or month or whatever, right? So it wasn't something that I was married to doing. It was just sort of in the back of my head that this could be a lot of fun.
Now, you touched on the fact that you were showing students. So this kind of goes into the next question. Okay. Have you ever taught others your skill, and why?
Well, the why is I have a background in education. So I'm not sure what the terminology is globally for my position, but here in Canada, it's educational assistant. And it used to be teacher assistant. And I actually fought really hard for it to be the term to be changed to educational assistant, because, you know, it's about the kids, it's not about the teacher. So the teacher I worked with did not have a creative bone in his body. Very intelligent, great with math, great with linguistics. And the kids that I worked with are those kids that fall through the cracks, right? And need that extra assistance, and you know, need people to really believe in them. And that, you know, I took on the art program. So I did develop some programming within the school, and it was at the elementary level, so grades 3 to 6. And I quickly realized that, you know, this is what I want to do. This is where I needed to be. So with taking on that programming, it, you know, it opened my eyes to the teaching aspect of it. Always been creative. You know, my mom tells a story about, you know, if I was quiet as a kid, all they had to do is find a quiet little corner, and I was there with sticks or wool or something. You know, so when I started The Wire, I started off doing trade shows, and people consistently asked me if I taught classes. And I thought, okay, well, this isn't an area that I considered teaching adults. And it just kind of took it from there. And I have developed a couple of kits, 2 in particular. I actually should have had samples here, I suppose, to show you guys. But anyway, hindsight. And I copyrighted them, you know. So, but along with that copyright, I started teaching with those kits. And you know, I have to say that it's my joy. That's the most favorite part of my business, is teaching people how to work with this medium, because it really is easy, but it has a life of its own, right? So if you try and fight its natural tendencies, it's going to fight back. But there are tricks to working with it so that it becomes easier and easier. So yes, the teaching is very near to my heart.
A very big feeling for the passion. It's what drives you, the passion to teach others.
Definitely.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Me too.
So, Laura, why should we watch and subscribe to you?
That's a really great question. And
Thank you.
yeah, you know, because I am a little confounded at, you know, how long I've been doing this and how slow my growth has been, considering the feedback that I get from my subscribers is that my content is very different from your typical Wire channels. And that's primarily because I'm not a fan of jewelry, of making jewelry. And so many of the Wire channels that you see, Wirework channels, really focus on jewelry. And I get that because the majority of YouTube viewers that you know, watch crafts and you know, those kinds of videos, the making videos, creating videos, tend to be women, and we like our bling, right? You know, we like our pretty things, and you know, if you're already a creative person and you can take a medium like Wire and you can learn its tendencies, learn its behaviors, and turn it into something pretty and sparkly, and you know, I totally get that. But to me, it's monotonous and it's fiddly, and not to say that I don't make some videos that are jewelry, because they actually do quite well, but it's not what I really love to make. I love to make, and that same goes with bonsais and trees and those sort of things. There's a lot of that kind of content out there. But I like things like, you know, I don't know.
Oh, hang on.
Oh.
She didn't warn me. I told her to warn me, and she didn't warn me.
I can tell you a few things. Okay, so there's this little cloud, sun catcher with the little crystals and that, and these are beautiful in the window.
So
Um,
cute.
so there's this, and then currently I am working on a tree, but these are like little sun catchers here, little mini ones, and these hang in the window versus, and you can add beads and crystals and whatnot. This is actually one of the classes that I teach, and this is to junior high kids and seniors, actually,
I have to interrupt just very, very quickly. Hold that thought. With that sun catcher that you just had just then, does that sort of thing rust?
This is copper, so it will verdigris or tarnish over time. So first of all, it'll start to go kind of a funny brown color, and then as it's exposed to the elements, it'll take on that greenish tinge. Right, so because this is a solid copper wire, you can also patina it. So there are chemicals out there that you can actually put this in a chemical bath, and right away it'll turn it dark, which is really beautiful as well. But if it's not exposed to the elements, it'll retain this color, the copper, for years and years and years. So, there's variables as to how you treat the wire or what you expose it to.
Lovely. Thank you ever so much for doing that. I know that was a personal question and it wasn't in my list, and I apologise.
Don't apologize.
I'll get back to my list, honest. Okay. Next question.
Okay.
What are your can't live without craft room essentials?
Oh, well,
I'm not going to make you big again.
Besides the wire, obviously, I have a very wide array of tools, and a lot of wire workers have some very specialized tools. I use very, very basic stuff, but definitely, my pliers. Right, I have a few here that I can show you. So these are just utility snips, and probably everybody has a pair of these kicking around. And they don't have to be this size; they can be smaller, or they can be big mondo things too, as long as they're going to cut your heavier wire. So these I absolutely need to have. And I go through about one pair a year, and by that it's just because they dull, right? It's not the pliers themselves. And then these are just a chain nose plier, and once again they're just a utility plier, and these ones have teeth. So when you use the softer wires like the copper, like the sun catcher that I just showed you, you want to use it more jewelry plier, so something without teeth. And this is one that these I use, I would say, at just about every project, probably about 90% of them. And it's a round nose plier, right? So, and it is meant for jewelry. And this is really great for grabbing the ends of wires, giving them those twists, tucking wires in. They're so versatile. So as soon as my tools start to fight back, as soon as I start to struggle with using them, they're out of here. And I'm either ordering, these days I'm ordering online, or I'm hitting the hardware store and I'm replacing them as soon as possible. So definitely the tools that I use for the actual wire work. But I love crafts of all kinds. So yeah, I got a lot of stuff.
That's why I've got you here, Laura. That's why I've got you here. Okay, who is your target audience?
Mm.
No one said you could drink. It might be your spotlight, but you're not allowed to drink. That's fine. It's fine.
I apologize. Really, I need my coffee, honestly.
Yeah, you guys and your coffee. Okay. Target audience.
Do
you have one?
I don't really have one. I have taught children as young as 8 with these wire projects, and then as young as 80, right? So there's a wide range, and it's interesting because I'm going with my experience. The assumption is that it's primarily women or girls that are interested in the wire work. And when I go into the schools, those boys are all over this. And it might be because it's wire, so it's something that they can relate to as, mechanics and tools and those kinds of things. So I don't really have a demographic specifically. With the YouTube channel, once again, it tends to be, I'd say 99% women, right? They just seem to be the ones that, as I said, as a group, as a whole, that are looking for my kind of content or your kind of content, or what I mean, the crafty, artsy stuff.
I have to say that really, really surprises me, because over here, this craft has amazed me since I was in single digits. It really has. And every craft show that I've seen items like this, it's always been men that have done this craft. So I've always associated it with men until I found you, and I was like, jaw wide open. So for you to say that as well, that's another, oh my gosh. So my eyes have been opened. Woohoo!
It could be that it's just my experience here in Canada, right? So who knows for sure, right? But
hey, both it's a unisex thing. It is. Nobody is going to discriminate against the sexes.
Of course.
We find joy in what we find joy in. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Okay. Right. Are you more of an extrovert or an introvert? And has it changed over the years?
Very much an introvert. I can be an extrovert for very short periods of time, such as here, right? But generally, I like my me time. I like quiet time. I do. Yeah. I like to vegetate. Definitely introvert.
Vegetation, you've got no complaints on this side. I mean, people know I like to vegetate on my sofa a lot. I am a vegetable. Okay.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I totally.
I mean, I'm more of a turnip than a broad bean, but anyway. You said you've been doing this for about 5 years, approximately. So it's a fairly new craft, in a sense. In the scheme of things, it's a fairly new craft for you. But what holds you back from taking this skill any further?
In what regards? I'm sorry, I'm not really sure I understand.
Yeah, that's okay. If what is stopping you either broadening your horizons or making you make other items or using different materials, or
Right. So I do use, as I indicated earlier, I do like to use recycled materials. So when I first started out, I was making straight up trees in hoops, as in the little one that I showed you a few minutes ago. And I was buying crystals or stones or whatnot, and to add to it. And then I discovered that the recycling is really awesome. Like it opens up the door for all kinds of variables, design wise. And I'm sorry, I forgot the question.
It's okay.
Okay.
You're allowed to tangent. It's your spotlight.
But if you can see behind me, wrong way behind me.
Your man.
See, there's a big gal. She's a fairy, actually. Her name
is a female. Oh, sorry, lady. Sorry, I missed the boobs. I can see the boobs now. Missed them before.
So that's a new medium for me. I've only learned how to do, and they're chicken wire, and I only learned how to do those this past September. And yeah, and it just, as soon as I took a class with a wire artist on Vancouver Island, and she's, as far as I know, she's the only wire artist in Canada that works in that medium. So she was running a couple of day courses. Her name is Sheena McCorkindale.
Mhm.
And it just made sense to me. I just had an epiphany. I had this aha moment and love it. Love, 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 love it. And I have done some pet portraits, like 3D statues. Faye, of course, I just did this huge octopus, and I am loving this. This is just, I can't wait to get out into the garage and cut some chicken wire. And so it's totally opened up this whole new, well, and market for me, because I do sell them, right? So I feel like since September, I have grown leaps and bounds, because this has opened a whole new universe for me, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
I'm guessing over your other shoulder, you've got another couple of fairy folk sitting up there. Are they with chicken wire too?
No, those are actually just with, I think it's a 22 gauge, 24 gauge aluminum wire. And those are, wrong direction, I'm having trouble with this. Those are,
We'll get there. It's fine.
it's reversed, it's flipped, right? So those are inspired by a gal in Australia. Her name is Brigida Gray, and her business is Weeping Willow Tree Fairies. Now, I purchased one of her fairies, and it's one of my prized possessions. And I contacted her, and I asked her if it was okay if I tried to make one. And she's just like, yeah, run with it, like just go for it. So I made one, and I sent her photos, and she was quite pleased with my efforts. And I was quite pleased with my efforts as well. And she said she was cool with me making them and selling them. And I promised her I would always give her credit. She set my feet on the path of making those particular little beauties. And she amazes me. She's a fabulous, fabulous artist. So I can also send you the link to her social media if you like. And
Is she on YouTube?
No, but she's on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Are her links in your channel somewhere?
No, because I haven't reproduced those as a video, and I won't.
In that case, what I'll do for you guys that are in chat, for you guys watching the replay, whether that be on my channel or whether that be on Laura's, I will put the details of her links in the description below, and they will be below Laura's links. And also, Laura's got to actually send me these details first, so give me enough time to get them in. But I will shove them down. I will place them very neatly down below. Ooh, just remember to send me them.
Absolutely.
Now, this is normally a question, but you've already answered it, so I will address the chat again very quickly. Also, down below in the description is Laura's website, completely solitary from anything else, where these items are sold and the beautiful works are shown. Prepare to have something for your eyes, because the magpie is going to want to come out, believe me. The amazing works are down there, and all sales details are down there too, and social medias, if I remember correctly. Can't actually see the description right now, but I'm almost certain they're down there. So yes, go to it, people. Okay. You're going to love this next question. Name a time when your patience was tested, apart from now. This doesn't count.
When I first started, I had hissy fits all over the place. when things went well, they went really well. When I fought the behavior in the wire, and I had said this previously, it kinks and it tangles and it's just this mess. And I had literally lost my temper. I've thrown things. It's just like, okay, I'm done. This is it. I'm done. And I was throwing stuff away. And then somebody said to me somewhere along the lines, they were just like, don't throw your stuff away. Even if it's just a complete mess, stick it in a box or a bin, tuck it out of the way. And someday you might pull it out and go, hey, okay, I could do something with this. And I did start doing that, and they were bang on. They were bang on. There's a lot of the projects that I do on my YouTube channel are things that I thought were absolute failures. And I was tempted to throw them away because they frustrated me so much. But as I've grown and I've learned, and like it's how things just come around. But and not to say still don't become impatient with it, because I do. And and that's just part of developing projects, is what it is, right? You have to work out those kinks before you can present them to the world in whatever form, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I still become frustrated.
The bad thing with wire, if you throw wire or anything that wire has produced, that hurts. Most of the circle that I'm in are yarn addicts, and throwing yarn doesn't hurt quite as much as throwing wire. But I love that can be taken with any craft, putting something away, going away from it for however long, and then coming back, fresh start, fresh eyes, completely different, and you may actually make it into something wonderful.
Absolutely. Yes. And that's the advice that I give to young artists, regardless of what their medium is tuck it away and pull it out later. And you probably will be quite surprised at how good it actually is.
Yeah. Have faith in yourself.
For sure. Totally. Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
Do you research trends or materials?
I have begun to. And that watching the analytics on my videos have helped with that. And that's why I do make more jewelry. I am posting more jewelry on my my YouTube channel, because you can see how that's working for other artists, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've begun to, but up to this point, it wasn't really something that was important to me. What the content that I put out there is what I like, and if somebody else likes it, well then, bully for me, right? Good on me. But yeah, it's not something that has ever driven me or driven my content.
Right. I'm not sure how you're going to answer this one, or even if you can. If you can't, we can pass it. It's not that's with any of them. You can pass if you like. We don't judge too much here. If you could win a lifetime supply of products from your favorite craft brand, who would you choose?
See, and I don't play favorites.
Oh, look at her playing.
Like honestly, I do have another YouTube channel as well. I haven't dedicated a lot of time to it, probably in the last couple of years, because of course I have young grandchildren. But it's painting and drawing and crafting and like all that other, that my second personality, if you will. So I really dabble in a lot of different things. So there are different products that I prefer depending on what medium I'm working on. But I'm all over the map as far as crafting and arts go. So I can't isolate one thing. So sorry.
See, and there was me thinking, if she does answer this, she'll probably come up with, okay, it's this tool, this belongs to this brand, and if I can have a lifetime supply of these tools, I would be set. But she didn't. So too late now. Okay. On average, how long does it take start to finish for you to put out a video?
Well, I've learned that my viewership, or I think that's the term, how long on average my videos are watched, tend to fall somewhere between, the 5 and 8 minute mark or so. And so I really try and gear my videos more towards the 20-25 minute length. And depending on the day, because here in my room, here in my studio or office, I film up against a window. And if it's a gray day, although I have purchased some nicer lighting here, but on a gray day, the light's not right. So it can take me in bad weather a couple of days to get enough footage for me to edit where I'm happy with the end result. Other days I can do 20 minutes of footage within an hour. Right. So, and of course that depends on the projects that I'm working on, but yeah, I try and keep the videos around, 20-25 minutes.
So there's not much editing. It's literally, no, this is it. This is start to finish. I've recorded, I've uploaded, done. This is it.
Yeah, and I'm kind of a goofball too. It's a good release for me because I can make mistakes. I tend to not edit them out anymore. I used to. I wanted to make these perfect videos, and I just need to be me. I just and you know what? I fumble and I mumble and I do goofy stuff every day.
Humor.
Just about swore there.
Good girl. She stopped herself. Good girl.
But so I don't heavily edit them anymore. I want to be who I am, and
And nobody would want you to be anybody else. You've got to be yourself.
Yeah, right. Yeah, totally.
Give me a sec. Oh yeah. Okay, so you've partially said that you are a little bit of a dabbler here and there, and you've done some drawing. You've got your wire work. I know you said something else, and it's already lost me. Painting, I think was the other one.
Yes.
So are there any other little hobbies that you kind of delve into apart from these three?
I actually am starting to work with, it's called soft solder. And you use some of the same materials as stained glass, which I've also, I did stained glass for years and absolutely loved it. So I still had all the tools and stuff. And, once I invest in, and it is an investment to do a lot of art. So I just hung on to the tools and that. And then I did discover soft soldering on a site on Facebook, actually. And I was just like, oh, this is amazing. And I could use a lot of the stuff that I'd been hoarding all these years anyway. So that's one that heavily appeals to me right now. I haven't had much time because, of course, I took on the chicken wire sculptures. So that's kind of the back burner, but that's one that I really do want to start mucking around with right away. And that all transfers into my wire work as well, right? So it's a new skill that I can build upon and add to what I'm already doing. So yeah, I'm very, very excited about that. But yeah, I'm pretty much willing to try anything.
Good girl, she's open.
Much to my husband's chagrin, right? He's just like, what are you doing? What are you doing now? Oh yeah.
It's good though. At least you're not blinkered to one thing and one thing only. You're open to trying new things, which is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Lovely thing to be able to do, because not everybody can. So well
Yes,
done.
that's true. Yeah.
Regarding YouTube now, you said you've got experience with 2 different channels, so you're a little bit up there on a lot of us. What would you have implemented on YouTube if you had the ability? What feature, or what one thing that you wish YouTube had that it really doesn't at the moment?
Something that I don't find to be very clear is search engine optimization. I would love to see, and I have searched, and there's lots of videos out there, but it doesn't pertain to exactly what it is that I need to be looking for, even with TubeBuddy and vidIQ, and I don't know if it's just that I've got a block that I don't I don't understand this, but that's a biggie for me. That's a biggie for me, is search engine optimization. And hey, if you have any tricks or anything, I'm happy to have that conversation with you, because I just can't get it.
Hey,
And
I'm with you, Laura. I am so with you.
information.
So
Yeah.
with you. Yes, YouTube, your searching is poop. Okay.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
It's a very, very, very good answer. Well done.
Thank you.
It's only a very good answer because I agree with you, but that's fine. What would what would you say is your favorite thing about having your own channel?
Just the fact that, because it's easy to get lazy, and well, I don't know if lazy is the right term, but to let life get in the way and not to make a point of doing the things that we enjoy, and taking that time for yourself to do these things. So YouTube um, has provided that opportunity for me to create almost every week, right? So, and even if I don't get around to it every week, I'm always doing stuff. I'm always crafting. Now it's the chicken wire that's taken over my world. But that's what I really like, is that it's just like, okay, Laura, you know what? You only have one more scheduled video. You better get in there, and you better make, 3 or 4 or 5, and then just get them scheduled, and then I can move on back to my chicken wire. Right. So it just I get to create. And for somebody who is a creator and loves to make things in whatever medium, this is awesome. YouTube is really, really awesome. And you get feedback, and you get recognition for it. And
Confidence boosting.
That too, for sure. Yeah, for sure. So that is definitely my the most favorite aspect of it for me.
Now, I'm constantly seeing you waving wire in front of us. It's like seeing Edward Scissorhands every now and again. What are you doing?
I actually am making the little silver tree. It's like the one that I showed you earlier, that's in the hoop. I do have art in a number of retail businesses around the area within Alberta in Canada, and I'm just filling an order is what I'm doing. I'm just making these little trees so that
she's multitasking. She's talking to us and she's filling an order as well.
Well, I'm trying.
Optimizing time. I love it.
That's a big part of it, for sure. When especially when you've committed to orders or retail, stockists, or right, like you have to stay on top of those things. It is my business, right?
So if somebody, we're going to go with what's in your hand right now. If somebody wanted to give that a go, how much wire would they need?
Oh,
I've never asked that question before. It's one of my own.
okay. So when this is a big experiment, or was when I initially developed it, because once again, this is part of, or similar to the one that I teach with the seniors and the school kids. Excuse me. But I'm as low tech as they come. I use fence boards to measure out my wire and cut it. So for this, I think I probably use about a 30 centimeter, maybe 35 centimeter fence board. And I wrap the wire. For this one, this would be 40 wires. So using a fence board that size, that length, I would wrap it 20 times. And then I would cut it in half, and that would give you enough wires for this. So this is 40 wires at about 30 centimeters, if that makes sense.
That's actually a lot less than I expected.
Yeah, well, and this is very fine wire. This is a 22 gauge wire. So with wire, the way it works is the smaller the number, the heavier the wire. So the larger the number, the finer the wire, the smaller the wire, right? So that's something else that you have to wrap your brain around when you're doing wire work, right? So yeah, this is 40 wires at about 30 or 35 centimeters, and then that'll fit into a this is a 5-inch hoop, right? So yeah, that's if you can see it, that's what it'll look like once it's mounted in here. And as you can see there's lots of excess wire, and that's one thing, as I say, when you're working with the wire, don't be stingy with it, you know.
If you cut it off, it's too late.
Right, like you can't go back. There's no going back, and there's nothing more disappointing, and take it from me, hard lessons. You know, you're starting over, or you are figuring out how to use it otherwise, right? So yeah, don't be stingy with your wire. Make sure that you use lots of it. So
it doesn't mean you guys have got to go and raid your house walls for wire. They would, right? Round here, I can tell you, they would. They'd gut houses out completely just to get copper wire. So please don't do that, people.
Well, it's valuable, right? You know, copper wire is valuable, right?
It is.
Yeah. Okay. You can recycle it and use it for sure, though.
If I had some, I'd love to give that a go, but I just haven't got the imagination to do it, which is a shame.
That's why we have YouTube channels.
That's why we have YouTube channels. There you go. That's why we have you. We need to come and subscribe to you to see how we do it.
Right. So come and see, come and visit.
Okay, so you guys have been told. Okay, you just said about that's why we have YouTube channels. So do you have a favorite YouTube channel?
I do. She is a Canadian wire artist. Her name is Heather Boyd. And she does all kinds of super fun stuff. She takes paper clips and turns them into little animals and bicycles, and she's just super creative. And Heather has been a pioneer for women YouTubers in this medium. So she's been working with wire for, I think she said, about 30 years. So she's got 25 on me, and she really, really understands the medium, but she really, really understands the platform. She has an Etsy store, and she's just super smart businesswoman, and I admire her immensely, and I really, really enjoy watching her channels. But she's also acknowledged me on her channel as well, and used some of my projects as examples. For honor. It's done.
Is Heather Boyd her channel name?
Yes, Heather Boyd. Well, if you just typed in Heather Boyd, because she's got a couple of different ones, right? She's got an art channel as well. So Heather Boyd Wire, I think it is. Just strictly that, but she'll come up if you just put in
If
Heather
I
Boyd.
can find it in the rubbish YouTube search engine, it will be down in the description below for anybody who is watching now, watching replay. It'll be down in the description. Watch out.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay. I love that she honoured you by giving you a shout out. Love it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I totally geeked out.
I bet you did. Proper little fangirl going on.
Well, you know it. You were spying on me, weren't you?
Not at all. Not at all. Anyway, next question. Next question. How did you choose your channel name?
Well, my last name is Wemet, so it's a play on that, actually. So Wemet Wirework, you know, and my husband came up with that many years ago. He's a photographer, and his business or his photography name is Wemet Images. So I just stole it.
Thief.
Well, with permission, you know.
Well, you're married to the one you stole it from, so I suppose.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly. Regarding your YouTube channel and your very first video, you said that you're really not confident in front of the camera, and that you just wanted the camera on your hands, nothing else. Sorry. But what did you mainly fear about making your first video of the bookmark?
Oh, you know, I think it's probably, I think everybody experiences just the fear of failure, putting yourself out there and being making a fool of yourself. I think everybody has felt that at some point. And I just get over that it just doesn't matter. Ultimately, it just doesn't matter. So, right?
Well said.
You have to put yourself out there. You don't know if you can do something, right?
Exactly. Don't live life in regret. Just do it.
Totally.
Where do you hope this channel will take you, if anywhere?
Oh, I'd love to be monetized. You know, everybody looks for that, right? You just think, oh, that'd be
honest.
Sorry?
You were honest.
Oh, well, you know, everybody wants passive income. And ultimately that's what it is, you know, and it's also doing something that feeds your soul, feeds your creativity, right? I mean, otherwise you probably wouldn't be doing it. You'd probably just bail on it, and you know, 8 years would pass and you haven't made a video, right? You know, so really, yeah, monetization, that would be perfect. That would be ideal, you know, and especially in this day and age, right? You know, I mean, people are you know, struggling with unemployment and losing their livelihoods, and you know, so yeah, anytime you can come up with passive income is awesome.
Well said. I love your honesty. Well done.
Well, it's what it is, right? You know, it's yeah, but it's a livelihood, or it contributes to your quality of life.
A couple of shekels extra, nobody's going to say no.
Right? Shekels, I'm going to use that one.
You know, shekels, everybody knows. If I turn around and said pence, you'd be like, what? We use cents.
Oh, no, I know
Shekels. Well, I'm going to go with shekels, all right? All right?
Okay,
I mean, I could say buttons. I could say buttons, but shekels, you know.
I'm going to use that, totally.
I will let you. You don't have to steal it from me. I will let you use
awesome. It. Thank you.
How do you decide what you're going to make next, as in your wire work?
Well, I have a frighteningly long list of stuff that I want to make, and I take inspiration from everywhere. And I'm not shy to admit that I troll Pinterest and I see things and I'm just like, holy mac, that would be so awesome to share with the world. And so I just kind of add that to my queue of things. But this goes back to what I was saying about, making things and then throwing them out. And I stopped doing that. I started just chucking them in a box. And, I visit that box every once in a while. And I'm just like, okay, now I've figured out how to do this and how I can improve on it. And so I really have a long list of things that I want to make. That get shuffled all the time. I think next week, okay, I'm going to make these 3 things. And people are awesome. They say, hey, have you ever thought about doing ... And I'm just like, no, but I will. So thank you. I'm going to run with that. And you'd be so surprised at how many people have these really great suggestions for variables on things that I already do. So it's kind of a no-brainer to not provide that to people that obviously are seeking it out or interested in it. So yeah, there's no shortage of ideas.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you one more question, and I want a show and tell from you.
Okay.
Be prepared. Okay, so with regard to your wire work, because it's fairly small, or at least the one that you're working on in a sense is fairly small, do you take your work, your craft projects, when you travel, when you go on holiday, or when you're going for a long car ride?
Yes.
I thought she was going to say no then. I thought she was going to go, no, to be stupid.
If we're traveling, we used to fly a lot. We used to visit a lot of countries. And so then, I'm very limited as to what I can take with me. However, I do seek out things like I taught myself basket weaving a few years ago because those were the kits that were available when we were traveling, and it was very easy to take with me. So, I mean, they're awful. They turned out terrible, but I'm very proud of them because I did them and it was a new thing. So, but we often drive. We have a really great camper. It's small and we can go, it's on a 4x4 truck. So we can drive and we could go to places that you can't just in a van or even an SUV, right? So we do seek out remote areas. And so I packed very carefully. I've got a couple of bins that fit into the camper, just tucked in a little corner. And boy, I'm telling you, I can pack a variety of stuff into those bins. And it's literally kept me busy for months. Packing those bins. So yeah, I take stuff with me everywhere I go.
I feel so sorry for your husband, but at the same time, well done.
Well, photography gear, so there's kind of that trade-off.
Oh well, give and take and compromise. Well, why not? Okay, right. I'm going to make you nice and big, Mrs.
Okay.
I would like you to show us some of your projects up close and personal, if you could. Okay. Show us some of your wire work.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to pop back here then.
You go for it. We've seen your cloud and we've seen one of the trees in a hoop. So let's see what else we've got.
So this is actually I've just made this guy.
Birdie.
All right. So he's a little blackbird. I'm actually in love with this guy. So he's my prototype. So I'm working on a couple of more, and I'm actually going to make a large sculpture with these guys. So and part of that does involve the chicken wire as well. So I love these. I love this guy. He turned out absolutely beautiful. So here is another little chicken wire. Isn't she cute?
I know there's someone watching that absolutely adores slugs and snails and thinks they're the cutest thing on earth. So yeah, I know they're going to go nuts for that.
I love her. Yeah, and I do tend to keep my prototypes. I do tend to keep the first ones that I make because they're a good reference for me as well. So there's that. And then we got This is my little mermaid, and she's my
Oh,
only mermaid.
is the colouring on her the actual wire, or have you coloured it yourself?
Oh, this is aluminum wire, and I'm telling you, I guess this is goes back to the question about a favorite material or something, something that I really prefer to work with. And this is aluminum wire, and this is soft like butter. I'm telling you, you can bend this wire into almost any shape imaginable. It's so nice to work with. And look at it, isn't she just wouldn't be the same in just,
No.
regular silver wire, right? So yeah, I really love this aluminum wire. And you can get it in almost any color imaginable, from black to purple and
Handy.
teals. And yeah, it's really a lovely wire. So that's my little mermaid there.
Go on, give us one more.
Okay, so this is one of my bonsai here. So that's in a copper wire.
Oh my gosh, the detailing. Can you angle it closer to the camera for the branches? Look at the detailing on it. Oh my gosh, these are the things that fascinate me. These are the things for me that, my gosh, I've wanted one of these for decades. I think they're amazing. Oh,
Well,
well done.
yeah, and you know what? YouTube is just loaded with videos on how to make that kind of stuff. So yeah, just search wire bonsai
No, no,
and
no, 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 no. We come to you. We don't search anybody. We come to you.
well,
Okay.
I do have a video. It's not a very large one. It's called Bonsai in a Jar, and it goes into that particular technique. But the bonsai, the jar is literally like this big, and you
Oh
fit
my
it in.
gosh. That
Yeah.
seems even more ideal for me because a jar is easy to dust. The bonsai trees aren't so much. You have to get
Well,
a toothbrush.
and moms tend to be my biggest customers for those. They tend to buy them for their college students, so that they have something bright and cheerful and
I
growing
love it.
in their space, which I was just like, really, that's weird, but I get it.
I get it. I get it. Okay. So, with your time constraints, we have one more question. Time for one more question, should I say? But you are going to choose it.
Oh,
Okay. You can pick a number between 21 and 57.
both of those are really good numbers, actually.
Well,
So let's
crack
go
on.
with let's go with 57.
57 it is. Listen, I'm turning my pages. There you go. Pages turned. Okay. How do you combat creative blocks?
I can't honestly say I
Well,
experienced
that's
that.
no use. You chose a question. Don't give me a no answer.
No, but like, honestly, because as I said earlier, like, I really have a lot of stuff going on, and I can I can turn around and choose a different craft or a different activity, and as far as the wire goes, usually that's if and I don't experience boredom, obviously, because there's always so much to do. I honestly, I don't have blocks. What my problem is, I don't have enough hours in the day to
Oh,
make everything that I want to
there's
make.
a lot of us like that, and then we moan that we can't go to sleep. This swings and roundabouts. But I love the fact that you've got a list. You're open to suggestions. So, means we've got 2 minutes left. I will ask a personal question. I know that you do your selling. You've got your website. You've said that you're open to suggestions for different ideas, creative ideas. If there's anybody that is watching that has an idea of something and says, could you make this? Would you be willing to give it a go within reason?
Absolutely.
Look at that. Not even a pause. She's just like straight in there.
No, I love a challenge, and everything that I make is a learning experience, right? There's learning curves, but with time, I don't think I haven't been able to figure out, and as long as that person is open to variables, it may not necessarily be what they envision, but yeah, for sure.
If they're willing to compromise a little bit, you should be able to incorporate.
Totally.
Lovely.
Yeah, totally, for sure.
Well done. Right, Laura, our time is now up.
Well, it's been wonderful. Thank you so much for inviting me. I was so super nervous leading up to this, but
you've been perfect.
Yeah, you are a treat, honey. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, and thank you to everyone that's joined us at this time, and for all the compliments that will be passed on to Laura in an email very shortly.
I appreciate it.
And also, of course, a thank you to the people watching the replay. It really helps myself, and if Laura gets this uploaded onto her channel, it will give Laura some watch hours too, so it will help her. So thank you very much. Laura, thank you very much. We will end here. Appreciate your time and enjoy your time with the Kiddie Winks.
Thank you so much. Take care and be well, okay?
Thank you very much, Laura.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.